Welcome back to Bitter-Swede Garage. I'm your host, Andrew. PJ is nowhere to be found. Well, he's in California, so, he lives there, but not for long, maybe. Anyway, I'm finally gonna start working back on the 54 Chevy Cummins project. So, I'm just gonna move this big old pig out of here. And, yeah, today I think I'm gonna be working on these doors. Kind of the least fun part of bodywork is disassembling all the junk so you can get in there and sand all the edges. So let's get to it. Got this door here set up on the stand, and at one point it had some custom interior. I'm sure when that was new it still looked bad. So got my favorite clutch head screws to take off. Got set there. So I'm gonna take all this stuff out because I want to be able to get the paint all wrapped around there, and not sure if I'll go with the one-piece window, or I rebuilt the ones on my cab over and the rubber sucks. It's already cracked out, so maybe we'll just eliminate that, but that's for somewhere down the road. Right now we gotta clean this thing up. All right, I'm starting to get it. This thing just clips in, but then there's two screws right there, and then it's kind of like this funny order of operations, but you gotta take or at least I took the window crank off. I also got the door handle off the outside, that was easy. But then shoving the window down so then I can get this part out. There we go. Ta-da! Well, that probably should have had a bolt in the bottom of it, but it wasn't there. Let's set that down. And then this, now I can turn it enough to get the track or the arm off of the window crank. I mean, this window's already broken, but I'd like to not clean up glass. Slide that off the end. One-handed. Go. And now let's break this over here. Bring it. All right, just a few other things. All right, so I got the window channel pulled out, but the inner support for that, like I said, has the two screws down there, but there's one screw right there. That'll be fun. Success. Now remembering to put that back in is going to be interesting. This just slides out, maybe. Whiskey River, don't run. There we go. Ta-da. So there's one fastener behind this arm for the door latch. So you got to take that window channel out of the way so that you can get the latch turned, I think. Maybe. I'll figure that out. Yep, so it just pivots. And then just gotta get it out of that slot. It seems to fit. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Okay, fine, I'll use both hands. All right, I got it popped out of there. So now I can swing that out of the way and get that one. This side here, maybe. There we go. So sometimes I'll bag and tag stuff, but if I can, I'll just put screws back where I got them. And this one goes, you know, it's got the female side on the inside of the door, so I just taped it to there and then put the bolts back in the latch. So far, that's the only clutch head I've had trouble with, but I got it out enough that I grabbed it with my vice grips there and was able to back it out. So stuff's all in pretty good shape, just needs cleaned and oiled up and should be good to use again. All right, I got the top side of the door latch inside handle off, and then the window crank, this big old bad boy, comes out through that hole, I imagine. Where you find the bodies. Okay. Maybe. Gotta find a better way. Ta-da! So I got to looking at this vent window, the bottom of it that didn't have a bolt. It would have been a real pain. I found it. It's just way down in here. Yeah, I think the guys at the factory were like, you know what? It's Friday. I ain't doing it. So it's possible that this window's been out before, but I don't know. Now I gotta get this stainless off of here. One of my doors has the stainless, the other doesn't, so it's probably from a different truck. Hopefully I can get that off there without destroying it. That's the trick. And then I don't know if I want to go stainless again or just paint it. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, I got the little tiny machine screws out of this, and just kind of gently prying on it, because if I mess up this flange I can flatten it, but I really don't want to mess up that outside radius. So just, it is two pieces. Well, it's actually one piece, but it's split at the top. So just kind of working around. Make sure you dent it up. You know, if you're gonna dent it, crease it so you completely ruin it. It's just kind of barely hanging on. Well, let me keep working on this. Okay, so I had to get it past this one. It's basically wedged in there, so it was like that. I had to get this one enough so it would clear that, and then just kind of pinched it without creasing it. And then instead of trying to take it to the outside of the door, there's really not that much lip if you go the other direction. So just got it up, and Out of there. So now let's flip it over and see if I messed it up. Huh. Surprisingly decent. Okay. And then just drop it on the ground, it's fine. Alright, the last little piece I need to take off is this, which once I got a little bit of it out, got it one piece. That's for the window, I don't know, scraper, whatever. That is gonna be fun getting a new one in there, because you know it's not gonna be the right size, so I'll have to lube it up real good or something, but yeah. So I think we got everything off the door. Yeah, take all this stuff off and start sanding. Hooray. Forgot one last thing. This clamp for the bottom door seal. It's already ruined. I think that's the only bit of rust in the door because it was, you know, catching all the water. I don't know if I'm gonna even try to get these off. I don't think they're gonna come out very easy, especially with one hand. Nope. Nope. Okay. Oh, that was in vain. So I might cut the tops of these off. I don't know. Figure it out. All right. So surprisingly, I just gave it the old slit there on the top, and I was able to get this off. Unfortunately, after 70 years of collecting water, that's all rusted out. I mean, a new one of those would hide that, but I might as well fix it. We're here. So, not as easy as just scuffing and shooting as I thought, but that's what these tests are for. All right, so I got this marked off where the metal's good. And then I made a little template. I don't know if it'll help, but I kind of got the profile. Using cardboard like I know what I'm doing. And then in my younger, less wise years, I just rip all this stuff out of here and not care, but I'm trying to carefully dissect this so I can possibly use this as a reference, because the shape is still there, it's just rotted out. So then I use the flap disc to grind the edge down just a little bit so I can pop it free. It's gonna be a lot of welding, but hopefully it'll look good when I'm done. All right, I got this piece dissected. I couldn't save the top flange because it was so rusted out. And the pinch welds go all the way through, and they're kind of at a weird angle, so my spot weld cutter didn't work, but I was able to use this, kind of sacrifice this scraper, but got it in between there. I was able to kind of carefully chisel those spot welds out. So, got my piece. Still got the profile. Still got the right length. And I cut a little higher just because I didn't want to fight with trying to weld the rusty metal, which I think there's enough on these edges. It should be all right, but the rest of the inside looks pretty good. So that's good news. I got my new metal marked out. Just gotta color outside the lines and add a little bit for my flange at the bottom, and yeah, go from there. All right, this next part, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I welded up this pipe to a chunk of metal so I could hold it in my vise. So I made like a dolly, and the idea is I can hammer on that to give it just a little bit of contour. And I'll flip it upside down and do the other side because it's kind of an S. And then I'll do my flange last. I'm not fighting that. And I think yeah, whatever. So it doesn't take much. And I might try to figure out how to clamp the middle. So I marked out how far down, kind of roughly right in the center of the two radiuses. I got my line, there it is. See that right here. So hope I don't mess it up. Okay, so my dolly idea didn't work, kind of worked. I thought I would hammer. It was a little too much radius. So basically just kind of use it to hand form it, just kind of like pressed over the bar a little bit. And then I have a brake, sheet metal brake. I put the flange, the bottom flange in. And I have to say, this is one of my better patch panels. I think because I didn't try to rush it. So that's pretty good. This side needs to go in a little bit more, but yeah. I'm not gonna kind of hammer that down while I tack it, but I think that's gonna work real nice. So I need to go get some weld through primer, prime the back side and the outer skin. I need to clean that up. Still have a little bit left of those spot welds and knock the rust off, and then spray some primer on that too. Hopefully I can get the primer that I want, but in this town is highly unlikely. All right, I'm getting this all cleaned up to weld, and these purple discs, these bad boys, oh, there's the nut. These things are awesome for taking paint off. They don't dig into the metal too much, but yeah. So I was able to find some weld through primer. Napa know-how! So that's awesome. It's good to know too, because I didn't think I could get it anywhere in town. So thanks to my buddy Brad down at our local Laramie Napa auto parts store. So for all your auto parts needs, and also weld through primer. All right, so I'm gonna prime that real quick, and then I'll prime the inside right there, and then we'll weld it in. Almost forgot, I need to punch holes for my spot weld replication. So they're gonna be plug welds. But I marked where the old ones used to be. And there's, oh, I was gonna say there's just enough meat on the edge, but that last one blued out. Oh well. All right, now I'm gonna primer it. In rust repair, and maybe also in woodworking, one simply does not have too many clamps. That's most of mine. I probably need some more. All right, fast forward a little bit. I got it tacked in here. I think it's looking pretty good. It's not done welding. I still got to weld in between all these gaps, but you know, 133 down, 79 more to go. Got the sides welded up, got all the plug welds plugged. And then I like the idea of not having this flange like they do, you know, you fold that over. Pinch weld, flange, folded. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this welding rod and use that as filler, and then I'll tack weld that in just to give me some extra meat to grind down. So, still going. She's ready for paint. Okay, I got all the welds done. It was a couple more than 78 or whatever I said. So, that worked out pretty good with that you know, welding rod, filler rod that I had. That kind of helped keep there's a couple of nubs, but that kind of helped keep the top line. And then, yeah, a little grinding, and then she's ready for, well, prep. All right, here she is. Looks pretty good. I got a couple low spots, or maybe a couple more. But I don't want to keep grinding it and thinning out the metal on the sides, making it weak. And then I'm probably gonna leave most kind of that weld edge there, just because that's real thin and I don't want to thin it out too much. But that edge turned out pretty good. Nothing a little, just a tiny bit of filler wool. Sorry, my battery died. So, like I was saying, a little filler take care of that. I didn't want to make a career out of this, and honestly, I don't know how to do it better. So, I got it done, and it'll work good. Better than throwing some, you know, Bondo and hoping it sticks. So that's what we got. So I'll probably have to do the other door, and I got a big mess to clean up. So not as much progress, or I guess not the progress I was thinking it was going to be today, but it was necessary, I guess. So yeah, I think that'll do for now. I wish I was faster at this, because it took me all dang day. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today, and hopefully more progress coming soon. Thanks for watching Bitter-Swede Garage, and we'll check you next time.